about open my Excel sheet. I know I have to upload details, the video details. Passport, service accounts, we have always on, and how to configure DNN and BNN together. This is what we carried out in our last session. So I have to upload this, and
Shivra, your voice is very low.
I think I'm talking a bit slowly. Is it okay now? Just give me a
No,
second.
Yeah.
no, bro.
Rishi? Can you hear me now? I think it should be okay. Or is it still a problem?
Now it is okay, bro.
Now it's fine, bro.
Yeah, just a second. Let's wait for it. I think you might have seen some errors. So in the past, we did had one session on this, but still I'm going to show you something on top of this one. Let me just connect. Is that? Yes, say right. Oh, I think it won't start. I forgot that this is D drive will not be available for that. MDB files, since they are not available, it won't start. Just a second, I'll start it. Have to create that folder. I think we discussed this, but still I didn't create that PowerShell script. I forgot that. I mean, since these are my machines, I'm not doing that. But in real time, you have to ensure that PowerShell script is there. Otherwise, everything, whatever you are doing on D drive, it will be lost. So my MDB files are not there. That is the reason SQL instance will not come up. This happens only on Azure VMs. So do remember that. Since I created that folder, now it will start. Yeah. Let me do the same stuff on second node. This is something important. I didn't practice this before, but let's try to do this and let's learn something new today, because these errors do pop up in general and we'll get panic very easily at that error. So that is the reason I just wanted to show that up. Okay, this is done. So let me connect now. Okay. Start. Okay, we are done.
Hey, Bramson,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. This might seem like a stupid question, but please let me understand what you did prior. So this is on VM. Why did that folder disappear if we had TempDB configured on that temporary folder before?
What we do on TempDB, any
Mm-hmm,
folder what you create, it will be
mm-hmm,
lost once you restart the machine. I mean, once you power off the machines from portal or once you restart. So
mm,
this folder will be lost. Okay, so D drive is kind of a drive that comes with all machines, not just DB server, whether it is
mm-hmm.
web server, app server, whatever the VM that you are provisioning from Azure, that
Yes.
VM will contain your C drive, which hosts the operating system, and D
Mm-hmm.
drive. I'm talking about Windows, not about
Yeah.
Linux. So
Yes.
Windows, you will get C drive, and also you will get D drive. So D
Okay.
drive, the size of the D drive, it depends upon the series what you are choosing. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't I mean, you cannot increase the size of it. It is predefined. I mean, for
Okay.
example, for this mission, like I am with D4SV3, I believe. Let me show you my configuration. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm with standard D4S V3. For
Okay.
this mission, I'm getting 10 dB as 32 GB. Okay.
Okay.
So for
Okay.
example, if I move this up to some other different series, let me show you that. Let me go to size. If I go to size, I have various options here.
Mhm.
In general, for SQL Server, you have to choose memory optimized series. Okay.
Okay.
So the type for SQL Server should be memory optimized. That is the first fundamental rule. And it is recommended to go with EBDS series. Actually, you have to go with EBDBS series. Okay. So
Okay.
that is the recommended series for SQL Server. But since these are my missions, I'm just going with this series.
Okay. All
And
right.
D drive is very much mandatory that whatever you carry out in D drive, it will be lost. So you have to
Mhm.
run a PowerShell script in case you are placing your TempDB on D drive. I think that
Okay.
script is already there. If I open this, it should uh, come up. Just a second. How many of you are aware of orphan users? I think most of you are
Yeah.
okay with orphan users, right? So
Yes.
yeah. So let's keep this aside. So this topic, what I'm going to show you, it is something similar to orphan users, but it's very important at the same time.
Okay.
So let me check the always on. So always on is primary on node 1. Okay. And we have 1 DB and second DB. Okay, it's fine. Uh, so the first thing first, so we are talking about service master keys today. So as I said, if you wanted to find out installation of SQL, uh, just feel that as an interview question. So what are the different ways or different techniques to find out SQL installation date? If someone asks you that question, uh, one one of the answers, I'm saying one of the answers, there are different ways. So you can get that installation date from this command as well. If I go to symmetric keys under master, so whatever that is popping up with service master key and the created date, this is your installation date as well, your SQL installation date. Okay. So service master key, we're talking about the highest hierarchy, what we have under keys. Let me open the diagram. What is that? SQL Server key hierarchy, right? Server keys hierarchy. Encryption hierarchy, I should say encryption hierarchy. So this is what I'm talking about. Uh, so this is the diagram what we have. So we have at the top, we're talking about at the very top, which is nothing but service master key. Okay. So this layer, we're talking about the first one, Windows operating system level data protection API protects the SMK. So we have at the top SMK, service master key, which gets installed once we install the SQL Server. So that is the reason I said, if you wanted to find out SQL installation date, you can check the creation date of service master key. So it helps you to give you that installation date. That is first thing. I cannot have multiple symmetric keys. I can have only one, sorry, not symmetric key, service master key. I can have only one service master key. Okay, so that is what I'm showing you here. This is my service master key for this instance. Okay, why I'm talking about this, you will get to know shortly, and the importance of that service master key. So let me copy this and let me switch to new query and let me run this. But the moment, if you see, my service master key GUID, I'm talking about this field. Okay, let me filter this down. I will just go with name and GUID. Name, comma, key GUID. Run the same thing. Okay, but the moment if you see my service master key numbers like 9B39 and 9B39, both are same, but it won't happen in real time. If you install SQL on different servers, you will get different service master keys, and this GUID will be different. Uh, I restored the service master key from this node to this node. That is the reason it is showing up with the same number, like 9B39, whatever it is. Okay, let me change this first, and then we'll start our session. If you wanted to restore service master key, what is the command, right? So the command to restore is restore service master key. So let me get it from internet because I am not No, it is not there on top of my head. Restore service master. Yeah. So it will be here. Let me copy this because I wanted to match up with real time. So that is the reason I have to change this. So I'm changing the changing that service master key. But what I am saying is in general, on node 1 and node 2, I have two nodes here, right? Node 1 and node 2, you will have different service master key IDs. It will not be same. Since I restored it from the primary, it is showing up as same to that of primary. But in reality, that will not be the case. So that is the reason I need to switch that back. So I think I saved this somewhere in backups. So let me just change this to backups and run it. Okay, let me restore this. I think I'm doing it on secondary, right? Okay. Doesn't exist. SE colon backup, I believe. If it is not there, I'll just check that. It should be somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Okay. This is the secondary server. Colon, I saved somewhere. C colon backups. Yeah. C colon backup service underscore master underscore. Colon backups. Okay, this is the extra one. C colon backup service underscore. Okay. Okay. Let me do this first. There are a few things here. Don't worry. I'm just matching up with the real time. So once that is done, you will get to know the importance of that and the things that you need to be aware of. Just give me a second. So let me run this command now. Okay. So we are back to our real-time scenario. So this is my primary and this is my secondary. And if I run this inside my master database, so this is how it looks in real time. It will be different from the number what you are seeing on node 1. So node 1 is starting with 9B and node 2 is with 7-1. Okay, it will be something like this. So now let me fail this instance back to node 1 and we'll start our demos. So I think we can stay on node 2 as well, but let me switch to node 1 because somehow I feel node 1 as primary. It's not required, but that's how my mind has been tuned in such a way that node 1 has to be primary. Any questions? I didn't do anything, but let's start our session. Okay, so let me drop all these databases and I'll create a new one for you. Intro, everything. Everything is removed. We are doing it from the scratch. So I'm going to create a new database. I'll name this as SMK1. Okay, and I'm going to create one more database. I'll name this as SMK2. So I've just created two databases on node 1. So let me run some queries and then we will see the importance of service master key and very important step that you need to be aware of. So I have a scenario where I need to encrypt my data, column level encryption. Okay, we are going to perform now a column level encryption. So this is the content for your column level encryption. And let me switch to SMK2 and also do the same stuff on SMK2. So I have two databases, SMK1 and SMK2. Both are going to be a part of always on. I didn't add it yet, but before me going to add those databases to always on, I'm just creating encrypted columns. Means encryption. I'm going to perform encryption on customer password because my password should not be revealed for everyone. So that is the reason I need to encrypt that column. Okay. So very simple. I'm just going to create this table and insert some data and let me remove this field. I don't need this. And I'm going to create a password here. This is nothing but database master key. Okay, this is database master key, and what we just discussed at the beginning of our session is related to service master key. Okay, so if you follow this hierarchy, now you'll get to know what is SMK, what is DMK, everything. I think I explained this already, but I'm just showing you up. Let me show you that. What is that role hierarchy, right? SQL Server hierarchy. So this is SMK, and then we are going to create DMK. This is inside master database. This one, what he is showing, it is inside master database. But now what we are going to do is inside user database. So we're talking about this one now. Okay, database master key. And inside database master key, we have something called as certificate and symmetric key, and finally encrypted data. So this is how it looks. Any questions before I move on? It's okay. You can talk now. This is the right time to talk. Did you get this hierarchy first? SMK, DMK, certificate, symmetric key, and encrypted data.
Yes, Tumsi.
Okay. So SMK is there. I don't need to create that. I'm going to create DMK now, which is this section. What is this color? Some light green or whatever it is. So this one, I'm talking about this one, database master key. So I am creating this now inside my user database. I'm saying this as password 1. I wanted to show you with different passwords, and then we'll see what happens next. Okay, so I'm going to create database master key and then certificate as per this hierarchy. Once we create database master key, then the next section is certificate. So that is the next command. And finally, I have symmetric key. That is the next one as per this hierarchy. So service master key, database master key, certificate, symmetric key, and finally, this is my encrypted data. My encrypted data is related to password, customer password. So for that, first DMK inside user database, done. Certificate, this is the second one, and then symmetric key. So once I have these 3 sections, DMK, certificate, and symmetric key, now I need to add one more column with var binary max as the data type. Whenever you wanted to have your information to be encrypted using column level encryption, that column data type should be var binary max. It has to be. That is mandatory. That is a requirement. So that is the reason I'm adding one more column with the name customer underscore password with var binary max. So I need to update the table now, and I have to run some functions so that my information will be encrypted. Okay, so I have to open the symmetric key. This will be done by developers, but I'm just showing you. Just consider me as a developer for a few seconds. Didn't I create this? Customer underscore password. Yeah, this is done, and this is done. Can update this, and I don't need this. Now, if I run, I have 4 columns. Column 1, column customer ID, and then password. This should be hidden. I should not be exposing the password. So it has to be something like this. So since I got the password, I have to drop the column that contains the original password. So that is dropped. Okay. So I'm doing the same stuff again on SMK2. This time I am saying password as password 2. This is password 01. Okay. And password 2. Okay. Let me do the same stuff. Done. Again, DMK, SMK, var binary max, update the fields, select the table, and then drop this. Okay, so now we have exactly same stuff on both the databases. So if I wanted to read the unencrypted data, what should I do? I mean, not we, developers has to run some code. So that code is nothing but they have to run this information. Okay, this is the code what they will run. So come over here, SMK2. Okay, now see, I can get the decrypted information. Okay, so let me do the same thing here. That is done. Without this code, I cannot decrypt the information. Okay, it's done now. Now I would like to add these 2 databases to be part of always on SMK1 and SMK2. For that, I need to take full backup. And also I cannot do auto seeding here because the paths are not same. So I will run few commands. me, this is node 2, this is node 1. So I'll run here. Backup database SMK1 disk equal to, I think we have something by name backups. I think where is that? Equal and backups. Yeah. Any questions? You can talk now since I'm just doing the backup. Done. That backup log. I'll copy this. Are you guys comfortable with this topic, like encryption, column level encryption? I've done this before, or
So just for my knowledge, what we are reproducing here, like we are creating a column level encryption and adding database into the always on.
yes,
That's our topic.
that's
Okay.
that's what we are doing for the moment. And what happens,
Mhm.
you'll get to know shortly. So I think
Okay.
I'm done. So let me copy these databases to um, node 2. So okay, it is here only. Let me copy these 4 files. SQL, what is it? 2K16 node 2 slash once I see colon. This inside I need to I'll just remove all this thing. Let me list one here. I can use of seeding. The only problem is I don't have identical paths and I'm on 2016. If you are on 2016, the path should be identical to make use of that seeding. I don't have that, so that is the reason I have to do a backup and restore. Every time this won't respond, I am not sure. That is the reason I intentionally connected without domain. But still, this is you have to wait few seconds, guys. This is happening for quite some time now. I don't know the reason, unfortunately. Let me see if there is anything inside. Okay. See, you can see it now, right? If you see something like distributed com, so this is the distributed com. So that means I'm not able to connect with the other PC using this one. Just wait, we'll solve this. These are all interrelated. If you are aware of AD, then you will get to know. I think this will not work. Let me do one thing. I will do it from here.
Just reboot it.
Yeah, reboot will work, but the problem is it's happening quite frequently now. Restore database, database. Okay, I have to write all the commands. Let's wait. Refresh. It will come automatically. I don't need to do anything. It will come, but sometimes it is freezing and it won't respond to AD protocols, as you can see. Let me restart SQL once and see if that helps. It's done. So let me connect. Is it done or still same thing? Yeah, it is done. Ooh. Not problem with SQL Server, guys. It's problem with AD. So even if you have problems at AD level, you will face consequences with SQL login timeout errors. Refresh 342. 43. Just a minute back. Let's hope connects. Yeah, but it will be slow. Till the time it connects, it will be slow. Just give me a second. Still not working. I will better restart this. Doesn't make any sense to wait. In the meantime, let's discuss some interview questions instead of wasting time. I think I shared few questions, right? Someone from our team was asking about two questions. Connection between SQL Server and Oracle without using linked servers. So that was one question what I got. And the other one is about residual predicates, what I shared. Anyone, did you guys get to know what is residual predicates now? Or it's still a difficult thing for you to understand? Let me move over there. I'll try to explain this so that you can, talk in interviews. This is our execution plan. So I asked you on that day, looking at the execution plan, can you figure out where the problem is and how to rectify this, right? So looking at the plan, just think, you don't need to be an expert. Just looking at this, you know where the problem is straight away, right? How can I say?
Lookup.
Yeah.
Cost.
Cost is 99%. So I can say the problem is straight away with the key lookup. But in real time, when you are solving performance issues, if you see key lookup with 99%, then it makes sense. Okay. But in general, don't get confused with key lookup, because key lookup is such a operator that most of the junior DBAs or who are not into performance tuning, they think that key lookup is the bottleneck all the time. But that is not the case. There are two things you have to remember. If key lookup is taking more time out of the entire query duration, then I will consider key lookup. That is first thumb rule. And second thing, I don't go with cost, but here in this case, since there is no cost associated with any other operators, then key lookup operator is the problem here. But be very cautious. Don't just blame key lookup all the time. That is my sincere suggestion. Because we have this tendency where we see key lookup as the problem all the time. But that is not the case. Be very cautious when you're dealing with performance issues. You have to see what is the cost associated with key lookup operator and the time it took for the entire query duration. For example, just imagine this query took 3 minutes, and out of the 3 minutes, key lookup operator, it will show, because any query, if you run, it will show the time also, right, for every operator. So if this operator took 2 minutes or 2 minutes 30 seconds out of 3 minutes entire duration, then I will consider key lookup. Otherwise, I won't touch key lookup. Don't blame key lookup straight away. Because I've seen numerous cases where people are just blaming key lookup if it is appearing inside the execution plan. That is not the case, guys. Okay, so we have key lookup here. So after that, these are the columns that is fetching from key lookup. So I have nearly 15 or 16 columns. These are all different columns, right? So if you are seeing these many columns, do you think it is advisable to create index here? I mean, covering index. Whenever you see key lookup, what does it mean actually? I think by this time it will come up. Still busy. But I hope will be fine. That is restarted. Busy, busy, busy. I'll cancel this. Take a new session. I mean to say that SSMs. Yeah. What is key lookup? What is your opinion on this execution plan? That is that. It is doing scan and key lookup, right? Do you think scan and key lookup happens or seek and key lookup happens? And what is this actually? What is your understanding with this? So you can silent today.
Yeah, if the non-cluster index doesn't have enough columns, it will look up the base table. Then key lookup will come.
Yeah. See that as the name says, look up. Look up. Okay. So what is non-cluster index? It's very, very, very simple. If you understand the basics, it's very easy to troubleshoot in real time also. So non-clustered indexes will have information only on the columns on which you created that index. Okay. For example, just come over here or maybe open this text file. Okay. So I have column 1, customer ID and customer password. Okay. If I create non-cluster index on customer ID, that means I will have information associated only with customer ID. I don't have information with column 1 and customer password. I don't have that. Okay. If you are saying select star from table name where customer ID equal to some value, some XYZ. Okay. Customer ID equal to 1, 2, 3. Just imagine where customer ID equal to 1, 2, 3. So since you are saying select star, star means I need information of all the columns. Column 1, customer ID and customer password. So even though you have index on customer ID, okay, if it is fetching few rows, I repeat, if it is fetching few rows, then it goes with seek. If it is getting too many rows, then it goes with scan. So don't say scan is better, seek is better. There is no straightforward answer for this. If someone in interview asks you, I mean, if he or she asks you about if whether scan is better or seek is better, your answer should be it depends. Okay, that is the right answer. It depends. It depends upon number of rows that you are pulling. Okay, number of rows that you are pulling. And for example, if you are pulling 40 rows out of 100 records inside the table, obviously it cannot go with seek. It has to go with scan. If it is pulling just 10 records, then SQL Server goes with seek. Okay, so don't say seek is best or scan is best. There is no such answer. You have to say it depends. It depends upon the number of records that you are pulling from the table. Usually, if you ask me, so anything more than 30%, if you're pulling more than 30% of the rows from the table, then SQL Server tends to go with scan. Why? Why that ratio of 30%, greater than 30%, why it has to go with scan? Why can't it go with seek and key lookup? Again,
So it's in internal algorithm.
It's not an internal algorithm. Okay, so you have to understand the concept. I mean, if you can pass answer something like this to interviewer, that shows your command on indexes. Okay, so whenever you are doing scan, okay, when you are doing scan, it will be sequential IO. Means, let's say for example, these are all lined up in sequential manner, right? So I will come over here, I will search. If it's not there, I'll come over here, come over here, come over here, come over here. So it is sequential IO. What I am doing is seek. Okay, let me show you a figure because that will make you understand much better. Sequential IO versus random IO. Images. I want images. Can you see this image? For example, sequential access. 1, 2, 3, 4, sequential, as the name says. Random, it goes in random order. Okay. So whenever you are doing scan, usually scans will be done in sequential manner because it uses B-tree algorithm, right? So it uses sequential, it goes with sequential access. When you are doing seek, okay, you will use B-tree again, okay, but it goes with random. It goes in a random manner. So if you want, I can explain this with much more in a detailed manner, but I'm just explaining, not in a detailed manner, but just giving you idea. So scan is generally tends to go with sequential, whereas seeks go with random access. Okay. So if you're performing too many random access, it increases the cost. That is not the right way to pull. That is the reason I'm saying if you're pulling less number of rows, then random access is better. But if you're pulling more number of rows, then sequential access is better. So that is the reason I said it depends. It depends upon number of rows you are pulling. Let's go to the diagram. In this case, it is going with scan. Okay, so that means you are pulling more than 30% of the rows. I'm not saying 30% is the formula, but that's what people generally recommend. So if it is more than 30%, it tends to go with scan. Okay, but there are few exceptional cases. Forget about that. So it went with scan. So then it is going with key lookup. Why it is doing key lookup? Because as I said, for example, where is this one? Yeah. If I'm saying select star from table one, where is that command? Yeah, select star from table name where customer ID equal to some number. Okay, I'm saying star. That means I want all the fields, but I have index only on customer ID. I don't have index on column 1 or customer password. So from where should I get this data? I have to go to the base table. Okay, base table is nothing but your original table. In original table means if it is having cluster index, that cluster index is nothing but your table. That is the reason you will see key lookup over there. Okay, if that table is heap table, then you will see RID. RID. Okay, I explained this already in our performance tuning part 1, but I'm just giving you a glance. Okay, so now coming to this scenario, I have scan and key lookup. I am getting key lookup because I don't have information about all these columns. Where is that? About all these columns. So that is the reason I am doing key lookup. I am looking up for the information related to all these different columns. Okay, so that is key lookup. And scan, why I'm getting scan, why not seek? Because I'm pulling probably more than 30% of the rows. That is the reason it's going with scan. So it is scan and key lookup. That is what happening with these tables. Okay, now coming to this. So is this clear now before I move on? I think most of you are not comfortable with indexing. So that is the reason I'm asking again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a second. I'll open this. So coming to this one, if I open this up, I have two sections here. One is seek predicate and the other one is just predicate. Can you see this? This one is seek predicate and the bottom one is just predicate. If you see two sections inside any of your operator with seek predicate and just predicate, the bottom one is called as residual predicate. That's the name. Technically speaking, this predicate is called as residual predicate. Okay. So the problem is with residual predicate in this scenario. So I will explain that before me explaining about that. Let's connect now because it is back. Fully it will connect. Yeah. Let me connect. I know that I'm flipping between that interview question and this class, but I will explain both. Don't worry. Because again, if it doesn't connect, I have to wait. So that is the reason. Okay, let's relocate this modifier. Let's do it the same thing for SMK2. Okay, now I need to add these databases. Let me quickly add these databases. See, it is talking about password required. So what if I don't know the password here of that DMK? How can I add now if I don't know the password? Just imagine.
We need to reset password again. I mean, multiple passwords it will accept. Sir, database must.
Yeah, so as Azad is saying, we can create one more password if we are aware, if we don't know the password, okay, if you are trying to add here and if we are not aware of that database master key password, we can create one more password. Means database master key can have multiple passwords. Okay, for that to happen, okay, so let's imagine that I will throw a critical scenario at you now. So just imagine I don't know the passwords. Okay, now I have to add this to always on and it is stopping up here. So do you think it will allow us to add this database if I don't know the password and I don't want to create a new password? Is that possible? My question is,
One way it may possible if you are going to use a script with SQL CMD mode, then it may skip the password section.
okay, so if
So for example, you are on primary.
got it. So you are saying that,
Yeah.
yeah, if I use SQL CMD, it may skip this section. Okay, any other solutions, any
Yeah.
other answers? I
Auto
think
seeding.
auto seeding, no, yeah, I can't do auto seeding here because the databases are already here in registering state. So I have to just join on. I have to do join only. But even for to carry out that, I'm coming out here and itself it is stopping here. So that auto seeding comes here, this phase. Select data synchronization. Under this phase, you will get auto seeding. So I'm getting stopped here itself. It's not about auto seeding. I don't know the password. Okay, I don't know. And someone is asking me to add these two databases to always on. Okay, don't worry.
Through,
Even if you don't know the password, you don't need
through
to. Yeah,
command.
through command. Through command, it is possible. So that is the reason. So don't always rely on GUI. You have to you have to be aware of commands as well. You can create password. Yes, we can create multiple passwords for DMK, but this scenario is different. Think that I am not willing or I'm not interested to create a new password. Okay, so what you can do is I will come over here and there are just two commands. No, it's not on secondary server session, so don't get confused. That command is, I think it is here. Most likely, yeah, yeah. So on the primary node, I have to go and have to run this command. There is that command on the primary node. This is the command. Alter availability group, group name, and database. This has to be done on primary node. I hope I'm on primary.
OMC, even though if you added bun, when you do the failover, it will look for the password, right?
That is different scenario. I'll come out there. At the beginning itself, we are talking about we would like to add the databases to always on, and I'm using GUI. But if you use GUI, you need to be aware of password. Just imagine that I am not aware of the password. I am not willing to create one more password. Okay, we're just creating hypothetical scenarios. So don't stuck there. Okay, you can add your databases even if you are not aware of password. Okay, so you simply what you need to do is you need to run these commands. So what is my availability group? A test, and the database name is SMK1 and SMK2. SMK1 and SMK2. Let me copy this. This has to be done on the primary. Okay, that is done. And now I have to do one more command on secondary. So the secondary is with alter database. The primary is with alter availability group. I do forget those commands, so it's not that you have to remember, but better if you can. Alter database. Again, the problem started. Every now and then, this node 2 goes out of sync with AD. And you'll get that timeout something, some error. Handshake, something. You'll get that one.
You can reboot DC server mode, not this one, DC one.
Why see connection timeout elapsed, prelog, handshake. This is 4.3, right? So now if I go to my secondary server, I didn't even connect. If I go and if I connect, it will show up the same message like decom protocol, something. Let me give one more try. It's become a big headache now. I'm not at all using domain credentials also. If you see, I'm using SQL authentication and even I connected with the local account. I'm not using domain. My domain name is Contoso. I'm not using that either. Let me connect to Node 2.
Try with IP.
That's a good idea. Let me try with IP. IP. Not one. Where is it? Oh, it got connected. So that means name resolution problem. Means name and IP, DNS stuff. No, but anyways, so let me finish up this alternate database SMK1. I think you might have seen the same error in real time also, right? I mean, you will be able to connect with IP, but not with name. Okay, let's check the scenario now. Refresh. Wait, if I refresh also, it won't connect. Let me disconnect this. Go with this. So now if you see everything is in synchronized state, and if I go to dashboard, everything is in green. Super. Okay, now imagine I need to verify my data. So developer is coming up and he wants to verify the data. So where is that code? This is the code to verify his data. I'll do this on primary and secondary and let's see what happens. I'll show you. Of course, I didn't discuss this in my previous session, but there is some catch here. Okay, readable is okay. Let me do this. I'm doing this on primary now. SMK1. I didn't get any errors. Let me copy the same thing and do this for SMK2. No errors, right? If I do this on secondary, because I have that read-only stuff, see, straight away it is saying, please create a master key or open the master key. Okay, why you are getting this error? You should be able to understand why you are getting this error. I'm explaining you clearly why you are getting this error.
Yes, Vamsi, symmetric.
Because of this reason. Okay, if you open up your master, let me run this command. Use master, select name, comma, image UID. Okay, this is 9B on node 1. And if I run the same command on node 2, I think I ran this on node 1. Okay, node 1. And let me run this on node 3. This 7.1. Okay, since these two are different, we are getting this error. So what are the possible solutions now? We already discussed the solution. If I'm aware of the password, I need to supply the password. Otherwise, you cannot run this. Just imagine I'm aware of the password for this scenario. So what I will do is I will run that. Otherwise, it won't allow you to open as well. So first, what you have to run is you have to run this command: open master key decryption by password. This is mandatory. Otherwise, you cannot run this command on secondary. Okay, so my password is password 1, I believe. Let me copy that. Are you getting this or not? Except Azad, because Azad is following my classes, so he will get that. Why I'm not able to access this on secondary? Something. What people are there? Say something, guys. I need some clarification.
We have only read access, right? We don't-
Read is fine because see, for example, if I do select start from table one, okay, I'm sysadmin by the way. Okay, select start from table one. I'm able to read the data. If you see, there are no errors. Okay, table underscore. Oh, I'm not inside that. Table underscore one, right? Yeah, table one. I'm able to read the data. What I need is I wanted to decrypt this information. I wanted the decrypted information, the original password of my customers. Okay. So if I'm running this, let me comment out this. If I don't comment, then I won't get the error. Okay. If I'm doing this on secondary, it is coming up with error. Please create a master key. Why you are getting this error at the first point? Why you are getting this error? That is the first question I'm asking.
So
Because
master
master
database
key
is
is
different.
different from both node. That's why
Yes.
you created manually, right? Node 1 and node 2 you created manually. You didn't use the same backup to create on secondary server.
You
That is
need
the
to
reason.
restore the same master key.
That you will say now. Where is the disable
No.
unlock? Because someone is trying to drawing and it corrupts. It's not a good idea. I don't know where it is. Okay, so don't try to draw something on this here, guys. Please stop there. Yeah, why? Because my service master key is different on both the nodes. This is what happens in real time, guys. Your service master key will not be same on all your replicas. It will be different. So whenever you are trying to read the data on your secondary without knowing the password, you can't do. You have to be aware of password for you to read your information. Otherwise, it won't. Is this clear before I move on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's not about permissions. Again, I'm saying it's not about readability. I'm using read-only connections. Okay, let me do one thing for you guys. Since you think read-only is the problem, okay, you are thinking that the it's secondary and it is readable, right? So let me fail over and I will show you. Then my secondary becomes primary, right? And I will still get that problem. Let me show you. Done. Okay, successful. Now I'm primary. I'm on primary. My secondary 10.1.0.10 has become primary now. If you want, this is very clear. It is primary. So now I'm trying to run the same stuff. Okay. So no point of secondary here. I'm on primary replica. Still the same error. Okay. Is this clear now? You will get the same error even though it is primary. Even though I have sysadmin, nothing to do with permissions, nothing to do with replica. Getting? It's happening purely because you created symmetric key, certificate, and database master key on this server. Okay. And service master key is different on each replicas. By default, it will be different. Okay. At the beginning of the section, since I was practicing something, I made it similar. But in reality, it will not be the case. It will be different. It will be different. It will be different. So what should I do so that upon failover, my code should work as expected? First solution is you should be aware of password. If you are aware of the password, no problem. If you run this code, you will get the data. Let me remove this one. So there you go. Did it stop me? No. Since I'm aware of the password, I will not face any issues. Second scenario, I'm not aware of password. What should I do now? And even developers are not aware of password. So the same discussion, we did this here. Okay, let me go to that session. Somewhere something. DMK, I think DMK. Now SMK, something. Yeah. How to make use of, oh, not this one. what is that? Something is there, right? Just a second. What is that I'm explaining? Encryption, right? Okay. What is encryption?
Then we have to add the password.
Where will you add the password? Can you tell me where should I add the password? Because we
In
already
the
added
DMK.
we added the databases to always on. So there is nothing like
Ah.
that. I have to add the password here. Yeah, this is all. How to resolve missing database master key. This video is there. I explained the same stuff here also. If you see the hierarchy picture is also there. Same stuff, whatever what I'm showing, we did this over there. But in that video, I didn't explain about SMK. I was showing you only about DMKs. So what I can do is, if I'm aware of the password, something like password N and password 2, it's absolutely fine. I can retrieve my data. If I'm not aware of this password and no one is aware of the password, then what should I do? In such case, you have to follow the technique what I have shown in that video. What you have to do is you have to take one fresh backup, okay, and then create new database master key password, and then you have to add the databases to always on. That is what you should do. Okay. Otherwise, it won't work. You have to take fresh backup, okay, and then restore that backup onto your secondary, and then add the database. Then, since you carried out that action, you are aware of the password, you will safeguard that password somewhere, then no problem. Okay. So that is being explained very clearly in this video. How to resolve missing database master key. It's all about this video. Like from 40 minutes or so, we started this topic, and it goes up to 1 hour 23 minutes. Means 40 minutes to 73 minutes. It covers about the solution what we are discussing. That is there already. So now my question is, I don't want to remove my databases from always on, and I don't want to create fresh password. So how will I resolve now? The third solution. We are discussing about the third solution. If you're aware of the password, that is fine. What if I don't know the password?
Then we have to encrypt by service master key.
Yeah, we have to encrypt by service master key. So because the databases are already part of always on, what should I do now? Okay, so that is the point.
Service master key again.
Okay, let me flip to node 1. Okay, I will show you one important thing. Let me flip to node 1. So if I flip to node 1, okay, I don't need to provide password. I will show you this. I think I explained that already, but I'm just showing you one more time. I'm just failing back to node 1. Just wait for it. Okay, done. So now if I run the same commands on node 1, this time I don't provide the password. Let me comment on this. And let me comment on this. I'm doing it on node 1. Once it fails to node 1, no issues. Okay, only if it fails over to node 2 or node 3 or node 4 secondary replica, then it won't. Are you getting this? Why only it is working on node 1? Why not on other replicas? If you understand this properly, you will answer this question.
The service master key ID is different.
Yeah, since we created databases on node 1, okay, this DMK is tied up with SMK on that server. Okay, that is the reason I said hierarchy. You created database master key on node 1. So this database master key is being protected by your SMK. Okay, so once you move this database from one replica to another replica, that another replica will have different SMK. So that SMK will not match up with this DMK. Okay. So that SMK is not matching up with your DMK. So obviously you will get this error. So that is what happening. The same case with orphan users also. Orphan users, the login SID and user SID will not be same, right? When will you get orphan users? When user SID is not matching up with your login SID, you will get orphan users. In the similar fashion here, my database master key and this SMK is not the same on your secondary replicas. That is the reason you need to be aware of password if you wanted to read the data on secondaries. Getting or not? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah, very clear
Yep.
now, right?
Yes.
So now what should I do? As I said, the solution is already there in my video. So if I wanted to give alternative solution, okay, what is that alternative solution? Is nothing but I have to match up the SMKs. The same thing happens with your SSIS DB also, guys. Remember, if your SSIS DB, if it fails over to another node, and if you're not aware of that SSIS DB password, because when you're creating the SSIS DB, at the beginning, it will ask for password. And if you're not aware of that SSIS DB password, it fails on your second replicas with the same error, open master key, the same stuff, whatever I've just shown previously. Okay, it will fail again. Same thing. Okay, this happens with user databases if you have encrypted information, and this happens with SSIS DB by default. We have one more video on SSIS DB also. Let me show you that. If you want, you can watch that video. Real-time issues on SSIS DB. Exactly, I discussed the same stuff. Okay, everything is there, but you are not watching the videos and you are popping up with same doubts and again.
So in this scenario, can we on the secondary server, we can drop the DMK and create with the different password?
You cannot drop the DMK because the database is read-only.
But it is created in master, no?
What is created inside the master? The DMK is created inside user database, not master.
Okay. Okay. So it is a column encryption.
It's column encryption. I'm not talking about TDE here. That is different again. We created SMK, sorry, we created DMK inside user database. Getting? So this happens with your user databases. If you have encrypted information, I mean columnar encryption, this happens with SSIS DB by default. By default, you don't need to
So,
create any encrypted columns. Yeah.
Oh, where we created these databases, where we can add the passwords.
There you can create password. Okay, that is what I'm saying. So you can create one more password on node 1. Okay, and then make use of the same password on node 2. But for that to action, you have to remove the databases from always on. Okay, because you cannot restore it when the database is part of always on. Right?
Yes.
So you have to remove the database from always on, create a new password, and then restore it, and then use seeding or join only, whatever the method what you want. Okay. So now the point is, imagine this is a very big database and I don't know the password. It got failed over to secondary node. What should I do now? Because I cannot come onto secondary and remove that database. I can't do all this stuff. Of course it works and that is perfect solution. But just imagine a scenario where I can't do for bigger databases. Okay. So that is where you have to understand the topics, questions, the problems what you got. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to match up my SMKs. So this SMK has to match up with my second replica. So what I have to do is I have to back up the service master key on primary and I have to restore this on my second replica and see if that works. Okay, let me do that and see if that works. I already backed it up. If you want, we can back it up one more time, the same command. So I'll show you what is that command. This is fine. This is restore only and backup service master key. Where is there? Is this here? Are you getting the topics? So this is the service master key. This is how I will back up my service master key. And I will have only one service master key for the entire instance. It's not with the databases. Service master key is not tied to any database. It's tied to instance.
So I'm thinking one scenario here, like situation like if the second, yeah, but that is always on. If the secondary server, so for example, if this is happening on, if we replace with the primary to the secondary and that secondary server master key using somewhere else, it may impact or not if we replace with the same SID.
That's what we'll see now. Okay. So I want to replace my service master key from primary to second replica and see what happens. So let me copy that command. And this is the command. I think it's already, I copied it. Let me do this again. I have to do this on secondary. So 10.120. Secondary. Let me come to master database. As you can see on secondary, it is starting with 7.1. Just make a note showing here. Before copying, okay? Before copying. And on primary, this is with 9B. Now I would like to restore the service master key. So let me copy that command. Here, restore. So I'm doing it on secondary. Restore service master key from file. So I have to pass that file. I think it is there on F drive. Let me double check. Here. And zero. Is here service master key. So I took this backup from primary and I restored it onto F drive backup. Okay. So let me change this F colon backup. Do you think it will work or not? F colon backup. The same password, because since you are backing up the service master key, you know the password. Okay, so there will not be any problem with this password. Yes, you will write this command on primary. Let me show you that command as well. So you'll say copy this. This is what you will do on primary, and you will try to copy that down to your secondary. Backup service master key to file. And you know the password. I mean, you will supply a new password. No issues with this password, guys. Okay. So now I'm trying to run this on secondary server. Do you think it will work or not? It will fail. Let me show you. Straight away it says, since the databases are read-only and not secondary, you can't run this command. You can run this command only on primary replicas. Currently, my secondary node 2 is secondary, so I cannot run it. Okay, this is secondary, I cannot run it. So imagine it got failed over. I mean, node 1 is now secondary and node 2 has become primary. Then only you can run that command. Otherwise, you can't run that because the databases are in read-only state on secondary. You cannot update it. So that is the reason I'm just flipping node 2 as primary. Okay, it is done. So now if I run this command, do you think it will work? It will fail again. Let me show you. Here you go. You are trying to match up SM keys to that of primary, I mean from node 1. Okay, but it will fail. Okay, what should I do now?
Force option.
You are breaking up,
Forcefully change.
yeah, forcefully. So you have to use
Forcefully.
command comes something called as force. Okay, now I'm doing force on secondary. I mean to say node 2, which is primary now. On node 2, which is primary. Okay, so you are getting a message saying that an error occurred while decrypting the master key SMK1 and SMK2 that was encrypted by old master key. Okay, old master key is there. Okay, I'm going to rewrite it on top of my old SMK. So that is the reason it is saying an error occurred while decrypting the master key that was encrypted by old master key. The error was ignored because the force option was used. Now let's check what is going to be my key GUID on my node 2, which is currently primary. Now if you see, before doing this action, it was 7.1 something. Now it is exactly matching up with my primary, which is nothing but node 1. Currently node 2 is primary, but since we failed over, node 2 has become primary. We are overwriting the SMKs. That is the reason you are seeing this. Now let me take a new window and see if this works. So let me, this is node 2, which is primary now. Without using the password, do you think this will work? Let's test that. Okay, no problem. And now SMK2. Without giving the password, it is working fine purely because we synced up the service master key on secondary replica. I mean, which is primary now. So if I fail it back to node 1 and again fail it back to node 2. Just I want to test multiple times and see if that works without password. Okay. I'm failing it back to node 1, which is the actual primary. It will work because we know that it worked on primary before also. So since we overwritten, I just wanted to double check. Let me copy this again and let me take a new window. Absolutely fine, no issues. I'm closing this. Now I'll try to flip this again to 10.1.0.10, which is node 2, and I'll try to bring it as primary, and I'll test that again. What I'm doing is completely applicable for SSSDB. No issues. Okay. So if I wanted to match up SMKs, what is the solution? The solution is you have to back up it up from primary replica and restore it onto your secondary. When you are restoring it on your secondary replica, it won't allow because on secondary replica, the databases will be in read-only state. For that, you have to fail over from node 1 to node 2, and then node 2 will become primary. And if you use without force, it won't allow. You have to use force. Then only you will be able to access your data without using password on node 1 or node 2 or node 3 or node 4 or node 5. Unless and until you sync up the SMKs, it won't work. Okay, you won't get anywhere. These kind of discussions will not happen anywhere, guys. So please watch the video and come back with your doubts. There are 2 videos already associated with the same topic, but with different solutions. So one is with SSSDB, and the other one is database master key, EMK, something is master. Yeah, how to resolve. I should remember the keyword resolve. This video and SSSDB video, in those 2 videos, I have provided how to create alternative passwords using, we can have multiple DMKs for any database. So I've created multiple passwords, not multiple DMKs, multiple passwords for DMK. So that is being addressed in those videos. But in this video, I've shown how to make use of SMK, how to sync that with SMK is what being shown in this video. Okay, any questions now? I'm going to close before that. You will act as if you are completely aware. And if I see the same doubt in our group, then I will say. Is this clear? This is very important topic, guys, because this happens in real time quite a lot. If you have any column level encryption, you will get this error. If you add your SSISDB to always on, you will get this error. For
So
sure,
I
I'm
faced
saying.
this similar issue. So we done the same thing.
Yeah, you have to match up your SMKs. So you have to use all this stuff. But in real time, you will feel panic because you have not done this before. You don't know how to restore. I mean to say the commands are very simple, but you have to have all these concepts very clear so that you can do this activity confidently on your production servers. So that is the reason what I suggest is if you are going to create always on, try to add SMKs before itself. I mean to say try to restore SMK straight away so that it remains the same across all your replicas and you will not get these issues at all. Even if you forget to carry out that action and if you add your databases to always on, you can do it later. But that later section is nothing but you have to make your secondary as primary and then you have to use force option. So that is a bit challenging thing, but it's okay, it works. Okay, then since you don't have any doubts, I'm closing this off. I will continue tomorrow. I'll share the session later, guys. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.